Now watch me. Remember, what we're doing here is we're just doing this big circle, big circle. So when you get to the top, remember to push back and then scoop underneath like you're coming back down to bowl again, back down to bowl again, back down to bowl again. I'll give you like another really subtle piece of coaching, which I'm a little concerned because I don't want to distract you, but I also don't want you developing bad habits. As you were learning this, what I'm noticing right now is you're starting with your hands here, which isn't technically the center of the circle, right? The center of the circle is down here. So what you really want is to bring the hands down and in, because when you're here, you have to actually travel a further distance on the back half of the circle to get back to here, right? So what you want is think about it from the bottom to the bottom rather than this front position. So when you're here and you notice yourself not quite in alignment with your the midline of your body this way, bring your hands down and in so that the arms line up with the frame of the body as you do it. And I know that left hand is weak. I see it. It's weaker, but that's why we're doing this. There are always fights until they're not fights, right? Fight is fight, flow is flow, and you got to go through the fight before you get to the flow. It's just part of the process, right? We got to fight with our bodies. We got to fight with our minds. We got to fight with the neural pathways that don't exist, and then we got to figure it out. And then when you're ready, just keep the right one low and just try and get that left one doing that circle while the right one's down here. So you got it all the way around. Now, if you're ready to, you can try it with both hands again. You may not be ready to. This may take longer to, this is part of what we're exploring together, is figure out where you have opportunities for development and how long it's going to take you to get them and what we need to do to give you drills to get there. This is also a hand independence drill when you're doing different things with each hands. When you're doing different movements with each hand, with each of the hands, each of the poi, that defines how you're doing hybrids as well, which is a cornerstone of what I like to spin, where I'm doing one thing with one hand and something else with the other hand up. But here's what I want to give you as a summary of what to work on. Because you have not yet gotten comfortable with your opposite direction on the side plane, there's a couple of things that you can do to help yourself. First of all, I would say some of these, I'm going to call these basic drills, I don't know how basic they are if you are having a hard time just maintaining the direction. So I would say a couple things you could do is playing with moving these in these different places and in these different ways, right? So I'm going up and down in line with the frame of my body. This will help you with your same time and being able to hold it. And it'll also help you with your plane control and then being able to go out and down as well. So that's a basic plane control drill to help you with that opposite direction. Step one is doing the plane control drills. And obviously your left under, right over, which I call side opposite right, because it's side plane, opposite direction, and then I'm naming the hand that's overhand. So if it's opposite direction and I say the right hand is overhand, inherently that means the left hand is underhand. So in side opposite right, that's your weakest one right now. First, working with the plane control drills. Then second, what I would try and do is get enough hand independence to be able to do a circle and then come back down, and a circle and come back down, and a circle and come back down, and be able to do that, 5-10 times with the left hand. It doesn't have to be consecutive like this, because that's a different skill completely, because that's a polyrhythmic. You'll notice my right hand is spinning multiple rotations in the same amount of time my left one. So not necessarily consecutively like that, but say 10 of those in a row. And then you can start working on, I would go back to the Pilates drill where you're coming through like this and you're practicing this, and maybe start the practice with that in between each set of drills. Do that, because that really helps you understand the body language and learn how to move the body independently of the force that you're feeling from the poi. Because what happens is, as the poi is pulling on your arms, your body goes into the muscle memory of what it thinks that pull should mean and what you should do to respond to it. But you don't have the muscle memory for this movement. You have the muscle memory for other movements, which is why you want to develop a stronger sense with the Pilates drill than what the actual movements previously are. And then after you've done the Pilates drill, you've done all those other pieces, start it out, get the hands down here in line with your frame, and then count off to yourself. And then when you're ready, 5, 6, 7, just go for one, get it around and come back down. 5, 6, 7, 8, go for one, come back down. And then as you feel more comfortable, you can try and go for 2. And then as you feel more comfortable, you can try and go for more. And then ultimately, I'd love to be able to see you, be able to do 5 to 10 or something in a row where you're just doing this extension. And then I recommend you stick with that one until you mostly have it, and then go to the easier one for you, which is where the right hand is underhand, the left hand is overhand. I don't even think you're gonna need to do these hand independence drills on this side based on what I saw you doing with it. So for this one, you can just try and go into it 5, 6, 7, all the way around, 5, 6, 7, all the way around. However, I would say the Pilates drill on this side will be equally helpful for you, where you're practicing doing the arm movements like this, where the right arm is underhand and the left arm is overhand, and you get all the way around and you feel what that body is doing. And you'll notice, you see how much I'm moving from my core muscles down here. The powerhouse is helping me get through the motion so that as my arm is in the back position, my hip opens that way. And then another helpful thing to note, we hadn't even gotten this far because you didn't have enough force going over the top of the turn. As I'm doing this motion, if you look at my palm, you'll notice my palms are both facing in the direction of the back hip. So when I'm on this side, my palms are both to my right. When I'm on this side, my palms are both to my left, and I'll demonstrate it for you so that you can see it a little bit better. And this technique remains the same as we increase our skills in the side plane flower. So notice when I'm here, I open my shoulder so that my left palm can come out. I don't do that. I do this. And that'll help protect from injury. Same thing on the other side. I don't do this, I do this. And then just because I mentioned the hybrid, let me show you a hybrid because that might be a useful thing to see. Or even this. So this is a 2-pedal with my right hand, this guy. I'm doing a 2-pedal. And you can see there's 2 circles inside the bigger circle. And then I'm doing a 4-pedal anti-spin with this one. And so that's a 4v2. Distinct from a 2v4, right? So this is my left hand doing 2 and my right hand doing 4. And there's bazillions of those. I mean, I'm sure there's a finite number that's reasonable, but there's many. So the drill that you did when you had the one hand going overhand, staying down here, and the other hand going underhand, this is helpful for the hand independence piece of working on hybrids, and it's also helpful for the polyrhythmic nature. So a polyrhythm is where the 2-poi are doing a different number of rotations in the same interval of time, like you just observed, where I started out with doing the 4 versus 0. So my left hand is going to do 4, my right hand does 0. And that's a polyrhythm, but then this is also a polyrhythm. And you'll notice my left arm is spinning slower now because I have more time because I'm doing more pedals with the right hand. All of these things are relevant. For me, my objective is not necessarily to see you have a flash of insight of getting the move in the moment. It's to empower you specifically to understand what you're trying to do, give you the exercises that you need to get there, help you learn how you can assess it for yourself, and then give you the steps that will lead you to it so that even if it's not during our session, you have what you need in between our sessions.